Hey guys, what's up? I'm Skadii Games. I stream to YouTube and Twitch, and I've been playing a ton of Chivalry 2, and I've just noticed some problems with the game that I think that Torn Banner could work on, and this is just meant to be a discussion about those things. So sit back, relax, I hope you enjoy the video, and much love. Alright, so the first topic I want to discuss is team balance, better known as team stacking. Now, I think that this mostly can occur due to just the matchmaking that Civ 2 has, but a lot of times you'll see people from a previous match, they'll learn kind of who's the best in the game that you're playing, and the next game they'll switch to your team even if they get matched on the others. So I think it's definitely due to both human interaction and also the matchmaking system, but I still think that this is a problem because every time I play in a party, and it can even be just like one other person, I'll be accused of team stacking, or I'll see people accuse the other team of team stacking if they're getting owned. You know, I think it's a tough thing to fix, but there's still like an issue with it because people are constantly complaining. Maybe the community needs to get over it and not switch, be more honorable, but I think that Torn Banner is actually working on, you know, creating a better system around when you can team swap, because there's another issue that happens not as frequently, thank God, because it used to be a problem, which is the auto balance, where it'll just switch you to the other team. And it used to happen when it used to happen like twice a match, but they've really solved that issue. So for the most part, I don't think it's one of the biggest issues that Civ 2 has, but I definitely think that, you know, I hear about team stacking at least, you know, 3 or 4 times a night, and I've seen it myself, you know, because sometimes you'll just have half your team over level 300, and then the other team has maybe 1 or 2 guys above level 100. So I think that it could be kind of devastating to newer players. So I think that Torn Banner is aware of the issue, and they've definitely improved it, but I still think that it needs a little bit of work. Alright, the next issue I want to talk about is the party system, and oh my lord, you would think that we can send a rover to Mars, but we can't form a party in Civ 2. Alright, I got you. Yeah, I popped you an invite. Did you get it? It didn't show up? Alright, I'm gonna do a quick restart then. Stay on. I got you, dude. The party system, man. It needs some work in this game. You can see that, you know, there's issues where every time you invite someone, they might not get the invite. Some people need to restart their systems if they're not getting an invite. I've had times where I've sent the invite, the person who didn't get it says, I'll restart. Okay, so I wait. Then I restart, and then I have to restart because they're still not receiving the invite. And it turns out, like, to fix this problem most of the time, everybody has to like restart their game. And you know, I'm gonna blame a little bit of this issue maybe it's the Epic Store's social systems. But you know, in Mordhau you can just right click join game. You know, it was always super simple to find your friends and play with them. And in the last update that I did on the roadmap, you know, Torn Banner is going to improve that, I believe, and they're gonna actually have friend codes and have cross party. So if you can check out that video that I did on that roadmap, but they haven't really talked about the party system issues that everyone has been having, to my knowledge. Maybe they have addressed it, but you know, mainly when people talk about the party system, they talk about crossplay, which yes, it's a huge issue that they're working on. But I feel like that the smaller party issues of just not having to restart your game needs to be discussed. Alright, let's talk about projectiles. Now, this isn't a dig on archers or anything. If you play archer, I respect you. I don't have the patience. But, you know, some games I feel as though 75% of my deaths are from projectiles. Just people throwing barrels, javelins, knives, weapons, heads, chickens on fire, fire bombs. You know, it's awesome that I can throw everything in the game, and I'm not saying they should change that, but I think they can do maybe a little bit of adjustments just to reduce a little bit of the projectiles. Like, to me, I don't really think a knight really needs 4 throwing knives. You know, I think like maybe one throwing axe is fine, and you could even do more damage. I think the throwing weapons for most of the melee classes should be sort of last resort. But, and also, you know, javelins are pretty ridiculous. And this is also kind of 2 issues in one, because I think that the auto-aim assist on console is just a little too strong. I mean, I'll be in a group fight of just, I don't know, like 5 people 1vxing, and I'm getting kills or just surviving, and you know, out of nowhere, just a bow in the head every time, and it's just, I'm just like, how did the projectile even reach me? Like, 5 people surrounded me against a wall. It happens a lot, and I really think that the game could benefit from maybe just a small reduction in projectiles. I think the damage is fine. I think that, you know, I'm not mad at archers or anything. I actually love the archers in the game. It wouldn't feel the same without it. Sometimes I just feel like I step out of the gate, I take an arrow to the head, a fire pot is thrown at my feet, and then I get javelined in the chest, and that's my life. And you know, sometimes it's incredible how many projectiles hit you. The next topic for this discussion is going to be adjustments to catch-up mechanics. So, what is a catch-up mechanic? It's when you're sort of transitioning from one objective to another, and sort of it gives the, you know, one team a little bit of an unbalance to sort of catch up, right? I think the best example of these kind of mechanics that transitions between points can kind of be best exemplified in Galencourt when you're pushing the main gate. And I think that, you know, people don't know this, but like if it's a close game, like, do not accept Battle Monk, because once you do that, you know, you're gonna have a 15-second respawn, and you're not gonna spawn back at the door, and then they're just gonna overtake it. So, you know, a lot of the transitions between objectives can be kind of squirrely. Another example I have is when you're on the bridge in Fallmire. The spawns can just send you back, you know, way back farther than you should be, I feel like, in some instances, and the other team just kind of pushes through. Sometimes your spawn time is 20 seconds for some reason. You know, it's kind of hard to pin down exactly what's happening because there's so many different factors. It could be respawn times, it could be, you know, other issues such as the Battle Monk. But I feel like you're having an epic battle at the gate. There's 20 seconds left. Your entire team picks Battle Monk. Then there's nobody left to defend because they're all spawning. And now you have to do another 6-minute battle of the same thing, which is like defending the shrine in the temple. So I think that I don't really know how to fix this or what really else to say here. But I feel like a lot of objectives are lost due to other things happening. Alright, next on the list, pulling maps from rotation. This one is like more of a question for me, because for me to Torn Banner, because I'm like, I just don't really understand why they have to completely yoink the map for like, I don't know, 2 weeks to 3 weeks at a time to fix it. I think it's because they're afraid of having people having a bad user experience and just completely dropping the game. But like, I really don't feel like they need to completely pull the map to fix it, because it starts to make other maps feel a bit monotonous. And I know that all the maps aren't perfect, but I'm wondering, you know, is there is there that bad of an issue with the map that they have to just completely take it out for weeks at a time? Like, do they have maybe some kind of numbers that we don't have access to that's showing, you know, how many people drop off? The latest map that they've pulled is Coxwell, and they haven't really been able to get that last point on it right just yet. And I feel like, to me, it doesn't really warrant taking the map out. I really wish that they would stop doing that, because, you know, I actually do start to miss the maps a lot, you know, even Coxwell. But yeah, my main thing with this one is just like, why? I would like to know a little bit more info when they do that. Usually they just kind of say, you know, hey, we're fixing it. But to me, when you're fixing an issue, it doesn't mean completely taking it out of the game. Alright, character customization. I think that Mordhau has Civ 2 beat in this category by far. I think that that's one of my favorite parts about playing Mordhau that I loved, was being able to pick, you know, everything about my character down to if he had sleeves or not, you know, the types of gloves. You can make your character pretty much as unique as you really wanted to. And in Civ, you know, I know what they're going for in Civ. I know it's more of a game that's based on classes, and they want those classes to have a very recognizable style, because, and it makes sense, because you know, there's differences between your classes, such as that make you choose tactical decisions based on what you're fighting, right? So if I'm a knight and I see someone with a warhammer, that warhammer is going to do extra damage versus knight. So the person wielding the warhammer knows, hey, maybe I can take out this knight faster, so I'll go for him first rather than another player. So it makes sense. But even in that kind of structure, I feel like you could still have that deep customizability, but still maintain the class identity. So I really hope that Civ in the future plans on making more of your character customizable, down to, you know, what gloves he's wearing and stuff like that. And I hope they really do have a bit more cosmetics that are more different looking. Kind of right now, we have armor sets that are in a category, and they'll all look very similar, and you have like 3 different ones to choose from. And the heraldries are kind of cool, but, you know, most of them aren't really visible on your armor on some of the armor types. And also for how, you know, when you're in a game, your character, depending on what team you're on, it is so red or blue that it's hard to even see your stylistic choices anyways. So I think it needs a bit of work, but this is not really that important to me. The main thing for me is really gameplay. Another thing, though, that can kind of go along with this is maybe they could implement more of a way to customize your ultimate ability. So in Mordhau, you had like different traits that you could pick with, and you had a certain amount of points to use to pick traits. And I think Civ could at least maybe have a little bit of freedom for us to be able to pick sort of what ultimate ability we have, and maybe even implement more. So maybe, you know, I'm a knight with a longsword that wants a fire pot instead of a horn or a banner. And then maybe I can go another step deeper where I can choose kind of what the banner does. Maybe instead of a healing banner, maybe there's another type of banner that gives a little bit of burst of movement speed, or there's a different banner that gives your team a bit more stamina. You know, something like that could be really cool, and it could give your gameplay style a little bit more sense of identity. I would really like to see some interesting special abilities that could switch up the game a bit. And then I think also having more of those ultimate abilities would also reduce like things like the number of fire pots that get thrown. Like when you're a king on you know, on any map, like let's say Rudhelm, I mean, most likely you're gonna die to a fire pot, and I think having so many fire pots just kind of, it just doesn't make it that fun. Your character's constantly on fire and you can't see shit. It's just I don't know. I think that the getting on fire in that game is such a common occurrence, and I think like a cool way to maybe quell the number of fire pots is to give us more options. You know, I really hope that the game isn't just so perfectly fine-tuned and balanced that, you know, reducing the number of fire pots would do harm to it. But it could also, you know, increase the number of balancing issues. But I think it would be super cool to be able to have a little bit more of an identity, especially with that ultimate. But we'll see. Hopefully they see this. For the last thing that we're going to talk about today, there's some things that are still in the game that they haven't fixed since the beginning of time. The first one is invisible weapons. The next two I'll let you guys see for yourself. Is this guy one-handing that? Look at that. How is he one-handing this? The fuck?
There are only a few prisoners left.
Whoa, it deactivated? What the hell? Yo, what is happening, dude? What the fuck is that? That's it for me. I want to thank you so much for watching the video. Just remember I stream to both Twitch and YouTube pretty much every day during the week, so, you know, come on by if you want to share your opinions and thoughts, or yell at me in the comments. Do whatever you wish, my lords. Happy slaying. Much love. Have a good night.